Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you guys to another episode of Here's What I Think with your host, Charles Tabansi. We'll discuss everything from current events, economics, politics, and how it all relates to business and life. And folks, we got a bombshell show here for you guys here today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Well, folks, looks like we finally got a verdict on the Sean Diddy Combs trial, a case that I'd been covering for some time, but given some responsibilities I had with the other job that I have, I didn't have a chance to really keep you guys updated. But we finally got the verdict. Okay, and I want to read from a few sources here. Well, actually, I'll just read from one. From a CNN source. It says, Sean Diddy Combs acquitted of most serious counts. It says, Cassie Ventura's lawyer, Doug Wigdor, told CNN following the verdict of Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy trial that there was a lot of mixed emotions in the courtroom this morning as the verdict was read. Obviously, would have liked to seen convictions on the RICO charges and sex trafficking charges, but Cassie prompted this investigation by the Southern District, and now Sean Combs stands before this court and is convicted court as a convicted felon of 2 crimes. He added. Wigdor added that while it's not the exact outcome they wanted, he and Ventura are grateful to the jury for finding Combs guilty on 2 counts. Combs was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution and acquitted of the most serious charges of sex trafficking, one of which directly pertained to Ventura and racketeering conspiracy. It then continues on. U.S. attorney after verdict prosecuting sex crimes requires brave victims to come forward. And then it goes on to say a few other statements. It says, how Combs reacted when the verdict was read. Sean Diddy Combs was sitting with his 2 hands clapped in his laps while the reading of the verdict began. When not guilty was announced for the racketeering conspiracy charge, he put his head in his hands. He did a subtle fist bump when not guilty was announced for the second of the 2 sex trafficking charges, the last of the most serious charges to be read. When a deputy polled the jurors about whether the verdict read in court was correct, Combs craned his neck to look at them. After defense attorney Mark argued in his favor of releasing Combs prior to sentencing, the judge asked, Mr. Combs does not want to go back to MDC. Obviously not. A reference to New York City's Metropolitan Detention Center. Combs vigorously nodded his head no and made a prayer's hand. And then that was it. And then some more people reacted to that. What are my thoughts about this case? Okay, what are my thoughts about this? First of all, let's address the buffoons and idiots in the background. There were people out there that have made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars creating all kind of salacious content that had absolutely nothing to do with the charges that Diddy was being prosecuted for or was on trial for. People were talking about baby oil and all kind of useless stories and, oh, he did this, he did that. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with what he is being prosecuted for. Nothing. But the reason people were doing that was because they knew it would make them a lot of money. And a lot of people raked in a lot of money based off of a bunch of nonsense. They were putting up cases. Oh, Diddy did this to me when I was a recording artist. Oh, he didn't give me this contract. Oh, everybody came out with their grievances. And people are listening. I'm like, what does this have to do with the case? What does it have to do with the case? So now, not only did the prosecution waste millions of taxpayers' money on this ridiculous case, imagine. They tried to say he was a one-man RICO. You know, charges that they use against the mafia, those were the charges that they tried to levy against Diddy. Now, these 2 counts that he was found guilty for, which essentially for prostitution, I think they both have a maximum sentence of 10 years, and obviously they can be served concurrently. So obviously he served some time already, a year. Now, obviously they're going to appeal it, and maybe the number's going to get dropped. But I also heard that his lawyer's attorney is trying to ensure that he gets out on bail. I think $1 million bail. Now, some people are like, no, he needs to stay there. He needs to stay there. Folks, he was never a convicted felon before. They say he's a first-time felon. First-time felon. So how come he doesn't get to go home? The fact of the matter is, a lot of people wanted Diddy to go to jail. Do you know why? Because they found somebody to go to jail. They found somebody and they were willing to believe anything. When I started hearing people talk about baby oil, I knew that they were absolutely not serious. Where does it say it's a crime to use baby oil? Where? If anything, this case should have been a civil case and it should have been a domestic abuse case. That's what it should have been. But the reason that the government put out that video was because they were trying to show some type of force. Oh, he was forcing her to be in that situation. And then we started hearing audios of Cassie threatening people. And we're like, oh, wait a minute now. Oh, wait a minute. And to my surprise, I got to say, some people were fair to Diddy in their coverage. Some people, given the fact that he was a man. Because we all know in the United States, if you're a man, oh, you're already a done deal. People had already come to the conclusion that he was guilty, and people were praying for it. Praying that he was, and they didn't even know the facts of the case. They didn't even know the fact. You asked them, why do you think Diddy should be guilty? He beat Cassie. Do you know that's not what he's on trial for? It don't matter. It don't matter. They said the 2 counts, people like 20 years. People are so stupid. They're so stupid that they don't even know most people commenting on this case don't have a bloody clue about the case. A bloody clue. And you know what's about to happen now? I was listening to some coverage, I think it was from either ABC or Fox or one of those networks. And they're like, this is a huge win for Diddy. A huge win because the serious crimes that he was being accused of, he was found now guilty. So now how can you hold over the man's head and say, oh, the guy is this, he's that, he's this, he's that, when the jury said he's not guilty? So now it looks like you have to reverse your position. Well, that's what a lot of people are going to do. All of a sudden now, well, man, this is a huge win for Diddy. Oh, man, man, well, wow. Like, maybe he's not as bad as after all. Yeah, that's what happened when you don't know the facts of the case. There was a lot of things that went on that people don't even understand what was happening in the background. They don't understand that. We're watching interviews with Gene Deal, this guy, that guy. And I'm like, what does this have to do with this case? You have the band members going up there crying about money. What does that have to do with this case? What does it have to do with this case? Nothing. But nevertheless, people were still running with it. If the man did something wrong, let him go to jail for it. But for the people running around hollering and screaming, talking about baby oil and this, you people are not serious. And if he gets out, I hope a lot of you content creators get sued out of your asses. Because a lot of you guys created all type of salacious content that frankly was bullshit. Frankly. But you guys knew if you could make those titles as salacious as possible, you would get a lot of clicks and you would make a lot of money. A lot of people made millions and millions of dollars off of Diddy. A lot of people. Just feeding all type of nonsense and spewing it across the table. Oh, man, yeah, he did this. Oh, he did that. He did this. He did that. People just wanted the guy to go down. Well, at least they got him on that. At least they got him on that. Bro, do you even know the case? Do you know the case? The thing that they're accusing Diddy of, trust me, if this thing goes down, a lot of people are going to jail. Oh, did I say that? Do you even know what the thing of a lot of people will go to jail. A lot of people for what he's being accused of. Flying people across whatever it is. Yes. So if you're in a relationship with a girl or whoever, and you buy them a ticket from New York to LA, let's say you live in LA, because maybe you don't live there, because maybe you work in LA. If you fly, that could be viewed as trafficking. Yes. Yes. So a lot of the people cheering, they don't even know that if they caught you or if they found you, you'd be guilty of that same thing too. Oh, but I don't know because I'm a dumbass. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. The amount of nonsense that was being spewed. Unbelievable. People that you even think are credible sources up there talking about baby oil. Even the prosecution, you should have known they were not serious. Why were they bringing up baby oil? What does that have to do with anything?